Hi guys, it's Rachel with Core Motion Fitness. So let's get to a warm up and then about 15-ish minutes of core work. You can always double the work to make it a longer block of work. We are going to start off with some tipping from the hip. You're thinking like deadlift pattern. If you can touch your toes, that's cool. But mostly tip from the hip so we don't round the back. So getting into your hamstrings. That should be really good. And then we're going to hit some regular squats. So feet just outside those hips, squatting down as much as you'll get down for now. If you're first thing in the morning and your knees just don't want to bend that much, that's okay. But tip from that hip, keep chest up, but it's okay to come forward a little bit. And then you're going to turn it into a reach, so if you can get deep enough to touch down and then overhead, that is ideal. If you've got weights today, you'll be able to use them. If not, I'll show you what I'll use around the house. And then to warm up into your bellies, we're going all the way down, trying to hit a hollow, staying small to start. Low back into the floor, reaching forward, knees over hips, and come up enough till you feel your abs grab. And then you're gonna try to extend away. Feel that mobility around the shoulders, but your abs still on. Then coming on back, and then extend those legs away. And if already you're like, oh, my back is coming off, here's where you stop. Or you can try to get that quad squeeze, keep low back into the floor, and then bring those knees into chest, roll on up, and take some twists. So we're gonna do some Russian twists today. So fingertips will go side to side. And then you're trying to keep the knees in line with the hips so we don't do this number. So find that rotation around rib cage level. And if you need to do more of these to get warm, do it. Otherwise, we'll get straight to the workout because you've got 50s today. Start with 50 deadlifts. We will go to weighted sit-ups. We will go to Russian twists, squats, and snatch. Your deadlifts, I have an almost empty laundry thingy and a full one. Ideally you have those of equal size, but you can use this for your deadlifts if you don't have weights. If you have weights, dumbbells, kettlebells, totally ideal. And we're gonna hit 50. Maybe you touch down, maybe you go to about mid-shin, but you do what you gotta do, where you tip from the hip, touch down and come up, glute squeeze at the top. I'm gonna count that as my 2 already. So you are literally counting 2, 50, and if I don't quite make it, you're gonna make it. So from the front, my chest is still kind of open, even though I am tipping from the hip. What you don't wanna do is make it a squat, so it's not a huge knee bend, because we are gonna actually get to those squats. And if you know me, you know that I'm not a good counter, so I don't know. We're probably not even halfway because it's going to be a lot, so that's okay. And if you're like me and you have uneven weight, you can totally just switch it up halfway through. But you want to make sure your legs or your feet are narrow enough that you don't let those knees cave in. Sometimes if we go too wide, we want to reach down and do that number. Both feet down. And standing tall, hips forward at the top, but not arching in the back. So somewhere around probably halfway. I have my videographer counting for me, but she's not super spot on either. So it's a big move, so whether you have weight or not, it is definitely gonna be kind of taxing because it's down and up, down and up. And if you ever get dizzy doing deadlifts, you just want to make sure that you don't completely look down. You're still kind of looking forward. It's that little tip from the hip. A slight-ish knee bend, maybe a little more if your legs are longer. And I'm going to say that is like around 50. Get to 50 if you didn't get to 50. With your weight, weighted sit-ups. So take some time to come up and to breathe. Otherwise, feet together, takes your hip flexors out of this, puts it more into your abs. With or without weight is okay. I got the light one. Let's just Let's just go for the heavier one since we're on film. You got 50. Ease your way down and then coming up, keeping the weight kind of close to you. And if you're like, whoa, this is a little too much, you can obviously shave the reps. If you're thinking 25, 30, 40 makes more sense to you, do it. Or if you're thinking, okay, this is getting heavy, try your lighter one. And even if that's getting a little too much, try balling up the fists, pressing them together. It gives you a little tension, but without the weight. You're trying to keep feet down. You're trying. Natural tendency is for them to lift up, but you're trying. And you can even go between adding your weight, lessening your weight, or ditching the weight. A little gentle tuck of the chin will take care of those neck flexors, but if you have to, you just take that break and then come back in when you're good and ready. This is like my third workout of the day, so I'm really hoping that I'm not getting my carpet super sweaty. Yes, this is my house. Welcome to my house. These will take you a little bit longer than those deadlifts. And I hope you're not counting, or I hope you're counting because I'm not counting. Kind of 30-ish. Does that sound right? Cool. So just notice how I'm not slamming when I come down. If you feel like your abs are giving up right about here and you're just slamming down, that's where you just need to take that little break. And 50's a lot, so you can always help yourself out by grabbing onto those legs and pulling you up. It's still a big move. It's not cheating, it's scaling it back so that you can actually get your 50 reps. Maybe you do a few like this. Maybe you come back in. Okay, I'm just gonna stop there because I can't count that far. Then we're coming back up to standing. So your abs may be a little fatigued after that. You still have to keep them on for your weighted squats. So wherever you want to hold the weight is fine with me. Down here is a little easier, up here is a little tougher. And you're going to hit 50 squats, keeping the knees tracking in line with the toes. And if you have uneven weight, you can of course use it to challenge your obliques. And then maybe halfway through, you flip it around just to make sure you get even work. So from the side, lots of depth. It is easier with shoes on, but I'm in my house. We don't wear shoes in the house. It's okay if some of you do. Tipping from that hip, and your eye gaze just a little bit forward so you don't start looking in between your feet as you get fatigued. If we start doing this number, butt doesn't drop, head drops, but butt doesn't, and you want all that knee bend. If you do think you have to stop and break, totally cool. If you think you have to stop and stop, maybe you just vary your foot placement. Some people like a narrow squat. Some people like a little wider squat. Same deal where you bend the knees a lot, you tip from the hip, and you keep the chest up. And of course you can absolutely do it with no weight. I guess halfway. My counter. My daughter and I just did a workout together and we used poker chips because we both were pretty terrible counters. So remember, with without your weight, doesn't matter to me. Deep squats, heels down. If you gotta do this number to get low, you stop a little higher. Totally cool. Okay, Russian twist. I'm gonna have you do it without weight. And that's so you can get that full rotation. If you have monkey arms like I do, and you can touch down without actually turning your chest, it's not gonna do you much good. So you got 50, let's do 50 total, 25 to each side, where you do rotate the chest. and you rotate the chest. And if you want a little more, feet off the ground. But it's not just fingertips to side, it's chest turning, chest turning. So these will probably be quick, but things to think about are the knees not flopping over every which way. So if that's you, if you have to do that, put them down, get the chest twist, get the chest twist, and that way you're really working the sides. Are you counting, Kay? Halfway. That should feel about halfway. You also want to be lifted in that chest. If you do find yourself kind of caving, it means your abs are giving up. Kind of nice and tall and proud. Feet down if you need the break, but you want to keep going. Feet up if you're feeling like you can. Alrighty. Snatches, 50 snatches. That is going to be a squat deadlift mix to get down, pushing your butt back, picking up your weight. These are a little awkward to lift. I would do a water bottle or a dumbbell if you have it, but it's got to be light. And you'll alternate, so you'll pick up, keep weight close to your body, and take it to the top, put it back down the exact same way. I would try to keep hands off the thigh and kind of make it a powerful pull to around shoulder level and then punch it up. And no, I haven't counted, but you do have 50. That'd be 25 on each side. So I do have to squat pretty low to get it. Things to think about though is not totally keeping those legs bent. You don't have to get a squat where your butt is all the way down here, but you do want to go low enough that you're going to use the legs to help drive that weight up. So if you do have weight, even if it's pretty light, it's a pretty taxing move. You don't want to make that rainbow arc. You want the weight to stay close to your body. You're thinking the weight stacked over your main center line. And if the weight is light enough, you might not feel the one side being easier or harder than the other. But if you do, that's okay. You just do it the same. Powerful to around the shoulders and the big press to get it to the top. You have any idea where we are, Kelly?
27.
Sweet. I think I'm ahead because she ran and got a weight. Of course, if you've got some shoulder issues and you want to use no weight, touch down, reach overhead. It's totally cool. A little less powerful, still work though. All right, and I'm going to stop there so we can get to our hollow pulses. In your hollow, long legs or bent legs, it doesn't matter to me, but upper body's going to move a little, lower body's going to move a little. That means the whole middle needs to be super tight. 50's a lot, but with small movements, we should be able to get it done pretty quick. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, low back into the ground, and if it's too much, bend the knees, 1, 2, 3. Ribs to hips, you've heard me say it 1,000 times before. The counter, are you counting? You should feel a little bit like death right now, or a lot. Breaks are okay, make them tiny, come back in to finish. And I'm gonna pretend I just did 50, or pretend I did more than 50, because that just sounds better. Okay, to finish up, you got 3 sets of 15 reps, still using your weights. We'll take the full one. Your side bends, not the most taxing move, but if you've done all those 50s, you should be pretty exhausted. So hips level and square, 15 reps, to the one side where the shoulders are moving together. The hips are staying level, so we just don't have that uncontrolled movement. It's tiny and it's kind of mighty. You got 15 on the one side, 15 on the other. And again, if you got a dumbbell, a kettlebell, it's ideal. But if you don't, even the bigger laundry jugs, it will get pretty heavy after a while. Okay, you got 15 of those. Using a book. This is my kid's weird book. And a coffee table, or no book, is fine with me. But you got crunches on the coffee table, where you are going to try to keep the book on your shins. It is easier said than done, but you're gonna crunch and then let it go, but not totally point your toes because of the book's gonna fall off. 15, not our highest number, especially if you've been with me for a while, but after all that work, it will feel pretty tough. So you are trying. And of course, if that book is not gonna work for you, legs are heavy. Do the legs. You can even try one at a time if they're a tad too heavy. Okay, I'm gonna pretend I just did 15 so you can move on. Kneeling wood chops with your book, with your water bottle. You don't have to kneel if you don't want to, but I like to take the legs out of this move so you can really focus on the sides. 15 of those where you are coming from around the knee to the weight still being in front of your body, and then coming back. No movement in the hips, so plant the bottom half. Turn that chest, straight arms, and you've got a powerful move to the top, and then it comes down the same way. So you got 15 to one side, and then you got 15 to the other from the side. Hips are forward, straight arms, and you're rotating so it's still in front of your body, because if you go a little too far, bad news on your back. You got 15 of those. Then you have 15 side crunches with your book, with your weight, with another weight, where you're facing forward, arms overhead, facing forward with your hips. And just bring that knee in and crunch up so that you feel these ribs slide down into those hips. 15, not the biggest number, but if you get that massive crunch, it will feel pretty big. So you got 15 of those. I will put this workout in the description so you can write it down, you can print it out, and I hope you like this one, and I'll see you next time.